Hey guys, VenomousFatman here, and I got a new segment of the BITT, the boys in the tube, and this time I got a very special guest. You guys know him as a guy that hangs around with DSP. He has just opened up his new YouTube channel. It just recently got partnered. I'm sitting down with John Rambo. So, John, how you doing?
Doing excellent today. How's it going, Mr. Fat Man?
I'm just hanging around. Everything's good, bro. So, let's get it started. So, right now, you just opened up your YouTube channel not too long ago. So, tell everybody, in a couple brief sentences, what you're all about.
Okay, my name is John. I'm straight. I'm an Aquarius. Um, I like watching TV, and I play Street Fighter and have a YouTube channel.
Short, simple, and to the point. So, so start it all off. One of the big first major things that you did for your YouTube channel, at least from what I remember when you first started posting videos up, was when you went to Japan for Togeki. Now, for most of you guys out there that don't know, Togeki is Super Battle Opera. It's a big fighting game, championship fighting game tournament. So, talk to us about it. What was it like going down there? How much fun it was?
It was pretty tremendous. It's definitely the goal of my Street Fighter playing career, I guess if you want to call it, to get there and play the best. And going to Japan for Street Fighter is like going to Canada for hockey or like Italy for pasta or something. So it's definitely a place I wanted to get to, and to see those players in that environment, in their own environment, and how good they are, and you hear the stories before you go about how high a level they play at, and you kind of understand it, but until you get there and really experience it, um, it's just a whole other world. And they got these really beautiful, professional, excellent arcades all over the place. Um, so it was a tremendous experience. I often look back on it, I'm like, did that really happen? Was it a real thing? Almost like a
Was there?
dream. So it's definitely a place I want to get back to, and the focus of my competitive gaming energy would put back into that, trying to get back there. Got some unfinished business to take care of over there.
That's awesome. I mean, it must have been really good because not a lot of people really get the opportunity to go to Japan to play video games of all things. It's like pretty much almost every gamer's dream. So you must have been, on cloud nine when you were down
Yeah,
there.
certainly feel blessed in that regard. Yeah, I tried to really soak it in while I was there and really enjoy it because I know it's once in a lifetime kind of deal. So unfortunately, I don't feel like I played up to my full potential. I don't think the work that I put in really came out in the actual event. But no, I certainly feel blessed to have been able to have that opportunity to go there. So I think someone sent me a message and they're like, John, you got to participate in Togeki. You went to the Pokemon Center and you went to the Tokyo Game Show. It's probably the best vacation ever. And I kind of looked at that when I got home and I was like, yeah, it pretty much was. So
That's a hard one to top. I mean, you went to play to Japan. You played Street Fighter. You saw a whole bunch of Japanese arcades, which not a lot of people get to see many arcades these days. And you went to a Pokemon Center. It's like a whole segment of The Hangover. It's just like awesome day or awesome vacation ever.
if you're a gamer, you have to get there and you go to Akihabara and they have these stores that are just insane. I mean, 7 floors high of games, and one after another. And it's not like we have crappy GameStop here or something like that. It's just professional, and they have everything, and it's unbelievable, man. You have to get there, see it and believe it. So
That's awesome. So, before we get more into that, because we'll get into some more Street Fighter and stuff like that a little later,
absolutely.
rewind everything back, to go back to the very beginning about you, John, as a game player,
Mhm.
where was it, for you where video games like first really started? Or like, what was it like when you first started playing video games?
I'm 27 years old, so probably some point in the 80s. I just remember going to my aunt's house, and she had the Atari 2600, and I was hooked from the start. I remember just seeing it and all the different. Remember the 2600, all these different controllers, and I just remember like picking them up and looking at them, and just kind of pulled me in from that point. And then I think later on, the NES. And then the Super Nintendo Genesis era was when I was really able to play games like competently. So it's just because I was old enough, and I've been playing games, pretty much my whole life, and it's just a great thing. So
Yeah, we're all fans of games, so I'm pretty sure, much like everybody else, you really have like that affinity or that that close connection with video games, ever since you were
and
young.
I think a lot of people don't have something that from their childhood that comes into their adult life that like in that way. So I think it's a cool thing. It's like I've been playing games. I understand the history of games. It's always been there, and it probably always will be there in my life. So I kind of appreciate it for that.
I mean, that's awesome. Now, to get a little more further into that, everybody knows, everybody that's seen Phil's channel and stuff, everybody knows you're friends with DSP. You guys, you hang, you play games together. When was it like the actual first time or the first, opportunity when you actually met someone like Phil, or when that friendship first, came to light?
Yeah, this is something a lot of people want to know, always ask. So I guess I'll dish it. Basically, once I um, once I got a car and I got a job, I was able to participate in the Street Fighter community. Um, and basically, in my area, there was an arcade, and at this arcade, I met two people. I met my friend Jamie and my friend Tony. And we used to play Street Fighter all the time, like every weekend. We'd play all the different games. Super Turbo, Capcom vs. SNK2, and like Third Strike were popular at that time. So I think it was 2005. DSP went to Evolution, and he was the highest placing American player. He got like fourth place in Super Turbo. So I saw, I saw this, and I saw the results and all that. I said, "Wow, this guy's in Connecticut, which is my area." And my friend Tony knew Phil a little bit, so I said, "Tony, you got to get this guy DSP to play with us," because I wasn't part of Phil's circle of friends at that point. So I said, "Dude, you got to get this guy Phil to come over and play." So I guess a couple weeks later, Phil actually came. I remember I was kind of nervous to meet him, and he showed up and we were playing. I think he was basically thought we were going to play CVS2 and Third Strike, which were the popular games, more popular games at the time. And I was like, "Dude, can we play Super Turbo?" And he's like, "Really? You want to play Super Turbo?" And we started playing, and it just kind of led from there. And I started going to his house every week, and I kind of became his training partner because he was way into the tournament scene at that point. He was like he was basically one of the best players in the country at that point. So I started going to his house and training, and then we just became friends and traveling together to all these different tournaments. And Phil's done a lot of great things for me, and a lot of people don't know that side of him. So basically, like I'm just some kid, that was new to Street Fighter, and he was already a top player, and he'd let me, come into his world, and I learned so much just because he plays so many different characters. Um, and he started taking me to tournaments and stuff, and he pulled me into the Street Fighter scene. And this is kind of like what's happened lately, where he's pulled me into the YouTube scene as well. So
It's kind of converted you.
yeah, Phil's kind of just dragging me along through for the last better part of a decade. So
But I mean, that's awesome. I mean, there you guys have it. You don't have to ask him or anybody else ever again. There you go. There's the story of how they.
yeah, we really for that 2006 2007, we just went crazy we went to so many tournaments all throughout the country. We practiced every week. We played on Christmas Day. I remember I went to Phil's living with his parents at that point. I drove up. We practiced Street Fighter Super Turbo on Christmas Day. So we were really into it at that point. And so that's pretty much how it all began.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, ever since you guys first really became friends like that, or at least you in your own right, did you guys like really, or just not just you and Phil, but just your whole circle of friends, did you guys really like almost all the time, just playing games or playing Street Fighter, training for tournaments and stuff like that? Or did you actually, plan it out or actually, put aside time for you to do other things?
We would just meet up pretty much every week. At that point, at that point it was Phil, myself, our friend Walter, our friend Tony, and we'd meet up pretty much every week at Phil's. And we play games, we play Street Fighter, and then we usually go do something at night. Go get some food or something more social, and then that's how we all kind of became a family. And we all traveled together. We take these long road trips up to there's this arcade in Massachusetts, which doesn't exist anymore. It's called Tokyo Game Action, and this was an excellent arcade. We go up there once a month. It was like a 3-4 hour drive. Me and Phil went to Atlanta. We went to Chicago. So all throughout the country. So we all kind of just became close through the travel and the just became friends like that. So
And that's great. I mean, it sounds like you guys had a lot of fun doing all the things that you guys had done.
it's a
Traveling.
great time, and I encourage anyone to get into the scene. It's and travel and I got this. Street Fighter's brought so much to me. Um, it's brought me friends. I've been able to travel all throughout the United States. I went to Japan. So just through Street Fighter. So I really appreciate that. It's brought me quite a bit of good times, and it's always there. When something in my life isn't going well, it's there. And those guys are there. So uh, something I really appreciate.
I mean, that's awesome. One more question before we go to another part or another video. Would you really say, playing games like that or playing Street Fighter in particular, it's better off playing with more kind of like a crowd or with your friends than it is going alone?
Yeah, absolutely. Something we're trying to do right now is helping people to build a scene. We have a Super Turbo cabinet in our town, so I'd like to see everyone do is try to get one in your city and just get a few people over to play. It's more about uh, the social experience at first, and then the game. Getting good at the games comes later because you become friends with people and you trust people and you start helping each other and you grow from there. And playing offline is 1,000 times better than playing just online. It's a completely different world. The game actually plays differently, um, and you're missing out on that social aspect that we used to have in the day with the arcades and things like that. So try to build something in your town. It's quite possible. We've done it here, so you can do it too.
There you guys go. I mean, that sounds awesome. We're going to get more into depth with it, in just a second. Be sure to check out the next part, guys. Going to part two.